Many animals are born with an innate ability to sense impending danger. Some people refer to this as a sixth sense, while others call it animal instinct. Either way, this intuition. When one man was out for a walk with his dogs, he noticed their behavior was becoming more and more erratic. Just as he started to wonder if something was wrong, they began to drag him toward the woods, and he realized he was about to encounter some serious trouble. We may not quite understand how it works, but animals are born with a strong intuition. They always seem to know when a situation might be trouble or even when someone is in danger. Dog owner Mark White of Wixom, Michigan, knew this better than most. Mark was recently out for a walk with his two dogs, Belle and Crew, when something bizarre happened. Little did they know was that it would be the beginning of a situation only Belle and Crew could handle. Mark, Belle, and Crew had been meandering along their usual route through the neighborhood when a man suddenly approached Mark. He appeared to be unsettled and frantic. The man claimed he was out looking for his wife, a 64-year-old woman named Terry. He said she suffered from dementia and that she was missing. The man wanted to know if Mark had seen anyone fitting his wife's description while on his walk that day. Dementia can be a terrifying degenerative disease for those struggling with it. It's no less frightening for family members tasked with tracking down their loved ones if they accidentally wander off the way Terry had. Unfortunately, the man's search was becoming more dire by the minute. The sun was beginning to set. While Mark hadn't seen the man's wife, he promised that he would keep his eyes peeled as he and his dogs finished their walk. Mark was happy to help, but he worried that his efforts might be too little too late. If it was getting late, how could he see any better than the man? It didn't help that the road was flanked by dense woods, which seemed to be getting darker the more he stared into them. Mark continued to walk along with Belle and Crew while keeping a watchful eye on the surrounding area. That was when something odd seemed to overtake his two dogs. They tugged hard at their leashes, and Mark instantly knew that something was wrong. Belle and Crew dragged Mark toward a wooded area along the side of the road. He realized they must have picked up on some sort of scent. He'd learned to trust their instincts over the years and decided he should take a closer look. It wasn't a moment later that Mark caught a glimpse of what the dogs were sensing. Sure enough, there was somebody sitting in the woods, Mark explained to police later. So, we waited for cars to pass by and walked across. The person sitting in the woods was, in fact, Terry. After saying hello and trying to make the disoriented woman feel comfortable, Mark escorted her back to her home. It was in the nick of time too. Terry's husband was in the process of filing a missing persons report. The local police were incredibly thankful for Belle and Crew's keen animal instincts. The officers were in the process of taking the police report when Terry was ultimately found, Wixom Police Chief Ron Moore said. Chief Moore was sure to mention the importance of the police and the townspeople working together. This is a great story, because we value our partnership with our community, he added. Of course, Belle and Crew played a large role as members of the community. Belle and Crew weren't the only dogs to help relocate a person with dementia who'd gone missing. Just last year, a Florida police dog assisted in the search for a woman who'd wandered off. In order for that dog locate the Florida woman, he followed her scent that had been bottled by her family a couple years in advance just in case she ever went missing. Even though it was almost 3 years old, the bottle was said to work up to 7 years. Just like that dog in Florida, pups are being trained around the world to help better service people with dementia. They grow accustomed to the person's routine and are able to help them perform everyday tasks, like remembering to eat. These dogs are even trained to remind the people who suffer from dementia when to take their medications. A sound will trigger them, and the dogs will retrieve a medicine bag with instructions for the patient. These service dogs' responsibilities don't end in the home either. In fact, they're being trained to help people outside too. The only difference between them and seeing eye dogs is they don't wear a special vest to denote their responsibility. These dogs' collars are equipped with a GPS system and they're trained to stay by their person's side at all times. Of course, service dogs aren't the only ones capable of assisting people in need, just like Belle and Crew proved. It's a miracle that Belle and Crew tracked Terry down so easily. Their animal instinct was certainly in full effect that day.